Hey, so I had a pretty good day. I got stuck on an install. It wasn't bad because I like to do some brazing, and I have gotten to do some brazing in like a month. So I got to get out my torch kit and have a little bit of fun. Um, Freaking almost knock myself out. So something about me, especially when I'm on a big job, I tend to not like sprint, but I run. Um, I run, up the stairs. I run everywhere. I don't generally walk. I'm not like going as fast as I can, but I'm running. I'm, you know, always running. Um, just on the job, trying to move faster. So I'm running up the attic stairs, right? And I'm just not thinking and just moving, and I'm jumping because you're running, so you're bouncing a little bit more, and I literally bounced my head up and hit the ceiling, and you can see I can't lift my phone too much, but I got myself good. So the guy I'm working with is like, her douche. Oh, and I like fall, and he looks at me, and I got blood coming all down my face. He's like, what the fuck did you do? Whatever. I was alright. I didn't get any blood on the guy's carpet, and that's what matters. And yeah, and then had to bounce around. It was just a decent day. I don't know. I wanted to do a quick video. You know, I look at like this war stuff, like politics. Like I don't think it's real. I think it's an extension of politics. In other words, um, I know that there were real bullets and real people died and all that, but I don't think that Afghanistan or Iraq had anything to do with 9/11. I do think that 9/11 was partially orchestrated by some people in the government to justify pre planned wars that were planned by foreign countries, and I'll say them Saudi Arabia and Israel, planned Afghanistan and Iraq and Syria and probably Iran and yeah. Uh, I think that those deals were made by traders in the U.S. military with these foreign countries in exchange for uh, publicity and money. Just real simple. Uh, they get nothing but good press, and they, you know, have all the money in the world. Now, that's not a servant in my book. So, when this whole thing with Afghanistan, I mean, they might as well have been, it's pretty much the same people. They just took off the clothes you gave them and they put on the clothes that they were wearing before you showed up. That's how I look at it. Um, I don't think that any culture, any worthwhile culture, was spread. I don't think that military domination should be in American culture. Um, I don't know. I don't. I'll just be honest. I don't respect career soldiers. I don't. If you served in the military and then went on to get a job, I respect you. I look at you like a brother, right? And it has nothing to do with serving in the military. Um, And I do respect it. It was is a path that was harder than mine. But I think that career soldiers are the problem, you know, and it's you know, one of the few jobs that this country will allow you to have, right? I don't know. I think that a lot of these people did it did it intentionally. Had nothing to do with terrorism. It was essentially uh, a mercenary. I'm not saying that everybody who went there was just in it for the money. After 9/11, I think that most people were ready to fight. And if not pick up a gun, um, bloody their knuckles. You know, there was a lot of camaraderie and anger in this country after 9/11. And that's where things go and diverge because there's psychologists and there are career soldiers. There were career soldiers and there were psychologists before 9/11, right? And after 9/11, there were still, I said still, there were still psychologists and career soldiers. And I think that some conspired um, with probably uh, people high up in Saudi Arabia. And it had everything to do with oil and economics and a debt. A debt um, that probably should have been paid in guns and armament, let's say, um, but due to either mistrust or general incompetence, the um, the supply of military arms was insufficient for the Saudi government in exchange for exclusivity in the oil market, um, as far as our currency goes. So I think that basically the Saudi government said to some people in the US government, um, we need soldiers, we don't need guns. And the same people in the US government told the Saudi government, we can't just give you soldiers to kill people. There has to be a reason. That's my theory as to what led up to 9/11. Now, after 9/11, there's a whole bunch of other individuals who had nothing to do with that, who had no knowledge of that, had no concept of a petrodollar or real understanding on why the United States had uh, global dominance in that particular asset class, as far as uh, only being able to buy oil in bulk with US dollars. Those people were all pissed off. And those people were directed to function as a mercenary army for the same people who planned and executed 9/11. Now, in my opinion, that's just the facts of it. It doesn't have to make you feel good. It doesn't have to make you feel bad. I think some people should feel bad. I think some people shouldn't feel bad. And it really depends on foreknowledge and uh, basically how much you've chosen to profit off of it, right? There's a lot of people who went and served honorably and then never went into the private sector. Never. They became police officers, or they became jail guards, or um, whatever. They just continued working for the government. A little gray area. I don't think it's as morally disgusting as a career soldier who's profiting off of that type of behavior. But I definitely don't look at you like my brother, like somebody who did 4 years, kicked ass, went there because they were pissed off, got out, got a job, supported themselves and the people around them through physical labor or the generation of goods and services, right? So when I see some of this stuff happening, you know, it's worse. It's so, like, the fact that America isn't, we don't have a proxy or friendly government. And I would argue that there's probably people in our government that are more friendly with the Taliban than they would tell you in public. Just because they bought so much fucking heroin from them. Excuse my language. They should be buddies by now. You know, the fact that we don't have a proxy government on a desert rock country, you know, whose major export is, you know, death and plants that kill you, you know. They have some minerals, so don't forget they have a magnesium. You know, it's like people say this weirdest stuff, but they don't have an economy that's not related to heroin or guns. They probably are home to, just from logistics, some of the most battle-hardened individuals on planet Earth today, and now they have a whole bunch of U.S. weaponry. And I would argue it's even worse than that, right? Because the people who armed them, who went there to kill them, and got real rich doing it, are the same ones who orchestrated 9/11. And these, for the scumbags, I'm sure most of them are. I think most people, if you kill people for a living, okay, I don't think you're a good person. You know, you can be real nice, but if that's your trade, I'm not gonna hold you in high regard. I might be scared of you. You know, I don't want to die, but you know, I'm not gonna kiss your ass, basically. So these scumbags over there, as scumbaggery as they are, they're not even the ones who did 9/11. You know what I mean? And Osama bin Laden wasn't even there. He was in Pakistan, right? So, like, it's this big lie, and pretty much what these, even worse than the Taliban, these generals and career soldiers and career politicians who were American citizens or Saudi citizens or Israeli citizens, who had foreknowledge of 9/11, who profited from 9/11, who continue to profit from the ongoing war, or whatever, the end war, and simultaneously created this whole country of battle-hardened, now well-armed career terrorists who have no other export. They're still profiting. In fact, they're probably the ones on TV telling you how upset they are about the failure. You know? That's really what I believe. So, you know, I live in pretty much a state of absolute disgust of my government. What they've done, why they've done it. And keep in mind, I'm an environmentalist. In my heart, I'm not like whatever. I'm not out there scrubbing seals to get the oil off. I'm trying my best to be as effective as possible. And the more I learn about energy, the more it's like you just keep gotta looking at the source. If you're gonna be at all impactful on the environment without massive depopulation, it's you know it's about getting off of oil and coal, and that's logistically a nightmare, but that's what it means at the end of the day. It's basically a lot of work. And, you know, all these crimes for their humanitarian um, criminality or amorality on a human scale, it was all done to perpetuate an oil system and currency system based on oil, primarily. That's why all those criminal acts took place. So it not only is a big crime. If it was just that, I would probably not even care as much as I do. I probably wouldn't even care enough to think about it so much where I kind of put it together theory. I would just accept the status quo. But the fact that it's the driving force behind our ecological degradation and global emergency, the primary reason for a catastrophic climate change is the use of oil as a transportation fuel. I would say first and foremost, that's what did it. Um, Oil and coal. And we heard all these things growing up. The conspiracy theory, guy can make a car run on air, X many miles per gallon. The reality is, there's a few options out there that are legitimate. If you want to just look big picture and forget about regional systems, so a system that can work anywhere is going to be modern nuclear reactor, and that's been suppressed simultaneously by the same criminals. That's it. So, I don't want to laugh. It's disgusting. But honestly, the return of Afghanistan to terrorists is basically like a lateral move, because I think that the people who are really in control of our military, are really the ones who planned and executed 9/11. And I don't think they're necessarily all Americans. You don't have to be an American to give a general or an admiral an order. You don't have to be an American. And if they listen to you, then you're their puppet master, right? So I think that they have listened to people like that, and have done those things. So I'm not excited to have them coming home. I'm not excited to have a bunch of Muslims taking over the country that they live in. I think most monotheistic religions breed semi-aggressive, violent mobs, criminal groups. And it's not even necessary. Every religion has its criminal underbelly. Maybe I've just had to deal with the mono or underbelly more than, whatever. The Yakuza or the Triads or whatever uh, the thugs of India or whatever, you know, the untouchables. I don't know what the criminals in India are called. But the criminal underbelly of any group. I've maybe just been disproportionately exposed to that um, threat in this culture, so I might have a bias there. But I'm not thrilled about any religious mob taking over any country. Put it that way. I don't want any religious mob taking over any country. I think that every country should be inclusive to different types of thought, different types of religion, different types of worship, because I think that's healthy. But, like I said, I don't differentiate between Muslim terrorists and Christian terrorists. To me, they're just all the same mob. It's just different clothes. So, that's just my position on it. All right.